Trade, an agribusiness company, says measures put in place by government on the importation of rice has contributed in surging demand for local rice as it outstrips supply. The company, which is the distributor of a brand of locally produced rice, says even though supply levels have not been reduced, demand seems to outstrip supply. The depreciation cedi and the ban on inland importation of rice has been cited by traders for the boost in the patronage of locally produced rice. Imported rice, which usually attracts about 40% import duties, have become more expensive as the cedi falls compared to locally produced one. For example, the 50 kilograms foreign rice costs 250 cedis compared to 170 for the same quantity of local rice with comparable quality. Well, I'm joined over the telephone by John Awene. He's Corporate Affairs Manager with Finatrade. Hello, John.
Hello.
Really, how should we digest this? Is this a good thing?
Well, let me say that it looks very good on one side in terms of the self-production. And then on another side, because the imported one is very expensive, you find out that demand for that one is low. Inevitably, you find out that they are not able to sell much, and in terms of government revenue, it goes down. But when we look at especially on the local side, I think that it has never happened. For the last a decade now, as a company, also I haven't encountered, but we always try to market to produce prices to carry food high. People have to do because that the quality is not good. But since the beginning of this year, indeed the latter part of last year to this year, we found out that the demand has gone up by 40%, and that has never happened. And you find out that people are going asking for it here and there, and that is very surprising. What is not possible is the supply levels to be able to keep pace with the. But essentially, I'll say that it's a very good thing for the country if we are able to take opportunity of that.
But, John, the small-scale suppliers say this is only benefiting companies like yours. But really, for them, pretty much nothing has changed.
No, you cannot say that it benefits companies like us. We need to look at it in a larger picture. At the end of the day, it has nothing to do, whatever policies are put in place that has nothing to do with individual benefiting. It has to do with the corporate Ghana, the country as a whole. If there's a lot of revenue generated or a lot of an improvement in the production of locally produced rice, what happens is that employment increases. The whole thing that we're talking about, that high imports taking away our foreign currency and putting the pressure on the local currency, at the end of the day, that is going to also improve. And so we are looking at the larger picture. And I think that Ghanaians, we need to stop looking at what benefits people at the micro level, but we need to look at a very macro level, what is the larger picture, what happens. And I think that what is happening has to do with Ghanaians embrace it, all of us have to embrace it. We need to be very happy about the fact that for over years we've been trying to promote this thing, and it's been a challenge. But now we have people agreeing with us that the quality is good, people agreeing to patronize it. And we need to really applaud ourselves and then actually keep on. We are going on.
But for such a good policy, we are unable to meet the demand that comes with the policy. How do we get by meeting the demand?
You see, essentially, what you find out is that in the past, you find out that, like I said, you have cheap imported rice coming in. And most of the things is that, like, you find out that most of the rice that comes in that are normally priced lower than the imported, lower than the local ones, essentially are small products. And so, for instance, for today, the tendency for people to smuggle in is higher, in the sense that if they bring in, they have a tax. If they don't bring in and they don't pay any tax, they have about 40% advantage over those who regularly bring in. Aside from the fact that the currency is depreciating, making imported ones which come in legally very expensive. So there's a double edge, there's a double advantage here. And I think that essentially, first of all, the main problem with the local production is to create the market. Now the market is there. And so we quickly now need to be able to, how we can be able to improve on the supply. It doesn't mean that it may happen overnight, but once the demand is there, effectively the farmers will be assured that when they produce, they will be able to find the right demand.
But we are faced with a situation. We want to meet the demand. How do we do that?
No, well, what we need to do as a country is to continue to maintain with the policies what has the policy, particularly not to allow cheap ones, people that cheap ones.
John, the question I want answered is how do we increase the supply of locally manufactured rice? Because the demand has increased, the demand house has stripped supply, even though supply has remained the same. It's not that supply has fallen. How do we meet the demand on the supply side?
What we need to do is that we have already put in place. We have already put in place as a company. What we are doing at our level is they are trying to source new suppliers. We are trying to look for new to be able to supply us. And also as a country, I think that, for instance, we need to encourage the farmers. We need to tell the farmers, link the farmers to the companies that deal in this, not necessarily our company, but other companies. Need to link them up and tell them that, look, there is this volume of demand that is there, 100,000 metric tons of demand that is there. Please produce. For instance, we also can ensure that if the issue has to do with capital, then they need to be able to get farmers together, find out how much they need, and put in the necessary modalities, make available capital to them.
I see.
We have already had input quite available to them.
Thank you very much. John, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it here. John Awone is Corporate Affairs Manager for Finitrade Ghana.